Hello guys, welcome back to a new video. The very first video of the wedding series. I honestly never really thought I was going to make this series. Not so much because I didn't want to share it, or not so much because I never thought I was going to get married. I never really knew if like doing a big wedding and stuff like that was like really my thing, if that makes sense. My mom actually a couple of years ago was like, but Sanne, like this is the only moment in your life that all your friends and all your family are going to get together at the same time. And I was like, that is so true. This is really the only time that all my friends and family are going to be together, celebrating love, celebrating life. And as you guys know, I do either things 100% or 0%. So here we're at. For everyone who is new on the channel here, I got engaged last February. I actually posted a little video about that too. Obviously the first question everyone asks is like, oh, when are you getting married? Like, when is the wedding? We didn't really think about it the months after we got engaged. We were just kind of like really enjoying the moment and just like, we shall see. And then we were kind of like, okay, what are we gonna do? I think the first thing what we did was kind of talk about the things what were important to us around a wedding, things we really wanted. Obviously our company, our friends and family was number one. Number two was good weather. And number three is good food. We are foodies. We celebrate with food. Food is a love language to us. And kind of based on that, we were like, okay, which country do we want to get our wedding? Obviously, Mac's family is near New York. My family is in Europe, in the Netherlands. Our friends are in New York, LA, like literally all over. Kind of came to the conclusion that no exact location kind of would make sense. I'm a true European by heart and I freaking love Europe. I feel the vibe is just there, and I started to realize too that Europe was actually also a little bit cheaper to do weddings. With those like three big pillars in mind, like our company, food and the weather, we kind of ended up very quickly at Italy. We really love Italy. I feel wherever you go, even if you very simple setting, it's always so beautiful. Food is incredible. So yeah, that's kind of how we landed on Italy. This summer we were making a trip out to Italy, so we were like, you know what, we might as well just go check out a couple venues to kind of get a feel of it. We decided to do the wedding in 2024. We were like, that gives us a little bit more time to like plan it, to like save money for it. By the way, I'm telling you all the like ideas we went into searching the wedding, and then you will see the outcome. It's like, I feel that is the Pisces in me. I literally changed my mind 100 times throughout any type of process. So step one was finding a wedding planner, especially because we choose to do like a wedding abroad. I think having a wedding planner is super helpful. We found Amber. I will actually link her profile down below as well. She is American but has been living in Italy for 10 years. She speaks Italian, which is obviously really helpful, and she's had a lot of experience. My friend did a wedding with her. So kind of the process how we did it, like she sends over tons of different venues. I also looked some online, and then based on that I was making selections based on kind of the filters I had. We first focused on having a guest list, so kind of getting a gauge, not exactly, but like how many people we wanted to invite. We ended up around 100 people, and then probably they say there's always like a 20% kind of cancellation or not show, because there are always people who are not going to be able to make it or whatever. So we're like, okay, 100 people or 110, so maybe like around 90 people. One really big thing for us was that rather than the wedding being just like very much focused on the ceremony, very much on like the events, like the wedding, the marriage part, we kind of really want to focus on like creating an experience with our friends and family. Like literally we want our ceremony to be 5 minutes and just like have a full-on party and just kind of for a couple days like really have that quality time with everyone. So for us it was really important that on our location a lot of people could stay. Most ideal, we wanted to have 100 people all at the same location, so we needed like a big venue, like a big castle or whatever. Again, this is like the things like we wanted to do, and obviously I'm gonna tell you this, you're gonna have a list of the things you want for like your venue or your wedding, but they're always gonna be like a pick and choose. I feel it's the same as like, you know, doing your home or whatever. You always like need to make choices, or like finding an apartment or whatever. It's barely gonna happen that you're gonna get it all in one. So yeah, the experience was really important, that a lot of people could stay at the same place. Max really wanted something unique. He didn't want to have like the Pinterest wedding. It was going to be very challenging because Max and I have very different styles in everything we do. So we went to Tuscany first and we checked out 3 different venues, and I kind of want to show you guys a couple of them, and maybe if you're looking for a venue you can check it out themselves because they're honestly all so gorgeous. It was really fun to like take the car, rent a car, and then just kind of go around. Our wedding planner was able to set up these appointments because often you do need to make an appointment to get a viewing. So the first one we actually went to is called Il Boro, is in Tuscany, and this place is unreal. It is basically a whole village that you can actually rent, and they built like kind of a hotel next to it. It's very luxurious. It's very like, it has a golf course, it has pools. I just want to go back to the clip kind of where we started taking a look at it. So we just arrived at the Il Boro location here in Tuscany. This is basically a full village which you can rent out, which is really cool. I'm standing here at the garden. This looks absolutely insane. So you can do like the ceremony there, and then here we can do like a welcomes dinner or something like that. And this is like a house with a lot of like bedrooms and stuff like that. Okay, so this place had kind of an old village where you could walk around and had I think around like 28 rooms or something. So you could rent that whole village, which was really, really cool. And you just go over this bridge by car, and they have these little golf carts, and then you have like the main like hotel with tons of rooms, and then on a 5-minute drive again with the golf cart you have another area where you have 2 really big, I don't know, kind of villas with a pool and like with rooms. So what I really liked about this spot, I think up to 108 guests can actually stay on the property, which is really amazing. So it would literally be, if we had all our guests there, like you have the whole village, just like you rent a village for your wedding. Like that's insane. They also have like wine farms. Like it was just gorgeous. The old town portion was very like cute. It has like, I don't know, it really had a good feeling to it. For ourselves, I think the downside was the price. It was really beautiful, very luxurious, and also very expensive. I think it was like above $100,000 to like rent it for 3 days. But this is another thing, if you're actually having the guests stay with you like on the property, this is a choice you can make as a couple. You know, have your guests pay for their own room or pay for the guests. And I think that's something, you know, when you see like a really high price for a venue, but you can actually have the guests stay there, you can also have them pay for their own room, so then it actually like balances it out a little bit more. Anyway, it was really, really gorgeous, but I was not like 100% feeling it. It did have a gorgeous garden with like a fountain, and it was just really beautiful, like where we could have the ceremony. Like that portion of it I really loved. For me, that there were a lot of like golf carts and it was like far away, like kind of everything far away, was a little bit of a downside. So I had very much an open mind to it, but there were definitely some things where I was like, I'm not 100% sure. Max was like, after this one, like sold on this. He was like, the old village, like that's just so cool, I want to do that. But yeah, that was kind of our number one that we checked out. Then the next day we went to a villa, Stoneman Nano, and it was just so stunning. The village of Stoneman Nano was actually built on old ancient ruins, so it was super, super old, and this villa had all the character. It was very rustic. It had this beautiful lane to it where you would drive on, and had this like gorgeous arrival. I thought it was like beautiful. It had a beautiful garden, beautiful pool. It was definitely like a little bit smaller because, you know, not all the guests could sleep there, and it was a little bit more remote, so you would have to get like shuttles and stuff. And these are all things you really need to think about a wedding, like, you know, the amount of guests you have, also the logistics, and the kind of like what you're feeling and what you want to do. So this spot, like when I was there, I was like, wow, this is so beautiful. I thought it had all the aesthetics. This place looks actually
insane.
Max did visually not like it as much. He thought it was just kind of too mainstream. He was like, this you see on every Pinterest board. I want something different. He was really like, you like this place? And I was like, yeah, it's gorgeous. It was like fairy tale like. But the fact that only 38 people could sleep there, and it was a little more remote, so you would have to arrange a lot of taxis or buses or something. I was like, I'm not like 100% feeling that. I don't know, it was really beautiful, and I kind of kept like an open mind to it. This one was actually in a much better like price range, because if you want to exclusively rent this for 3 days, it is 22,000 euros. And I believe if you want to rent it just for 1 day, it's like 8,000 euros. I don't know, I feel I want to be transparent about this, because a lot of people ask like, is a wedding in like Europe much more expensive or cheaper, whatever. Obviously it really depends what kind of venue you're picking, what kind of services it have, but I do think the biggest cost in Europe is actually with the food per person rather than the actual location. And I feel in the US, a lot of places here, obviously the food is really expensive, but the locations already are really, really expensive. In Italy, really beautiful locations compared to here are actually much cheaper, but you do need to think about like $200 a person for like food and drinks for like the wedding night or something like that. So yeah, trying to give you full transparency and like walk you through this whole process. So the next day we went to Fiesca, and this is actually a sister hotel of Il Boro, and it's actually owned by the Ferragamo family. I don't know if you just go Ferragamo, big fashion label. Let's hop back to that and see what this place is about.
So we are here at an old estate from the Ferragamo family. This was their like vacation home. So they built all these villas on this property, and they're about like 9. 120 guests could sleep here, which is really amazing. We could do all these like fun activities. I don't know, Max is already in love with this place. We didn't get a full view of everything because there are a lot of guests here, and it's actually really nice because they really want to protect the guests and, you know, not have like strangers walking on the property. I feel we should just come back here also next year and stay here because it's really pretty.
So the really cool thing about this place was it had one main house and it had 7 villas around it, and it could sleep up to like 119 guests, which meant all our guests would be able to sleep at the same location, and even everyone could have their own villa. It had all these like really beautiful like luxury white farmhouses, and I thought it was really pretty. And I thought, okay, this one, the experience would be really high because you're just all together, and during the day you can play soccer together, hang by the pool, like do all of that. The only thing is, I think from like a almost like an aesthetic feeling, I was like, I don't really know where to do like the ceremony, or like, I don't know, I just felt, I don't know why, it was something in me that I was just like not 100% feeling it, even though I really wanted to feel it. Max was really loving this place, and he was already at the front desk trying to book it for next year. I think mainly because I had really verbalized I wanted to get everyone together, and like, I don't know, I think this is something that sometimes with certain locations, it's like you feel something better than another. It's like falling in love with a person or another. Of course there are your reasons, but it's very much like a feeling base, or for me it is. Maybe for Max it's more of a logical thing, like, hey, which venue makes sense and that's the one. For me it's more like which one feels the best. I don't know, weird thing to explain. So this one is Fiesca. I really liked it, but I didn't like love it, even though Max really did. But I definitely kept like an open mind to it. I do not know the price of this one. They actually didn't share that with me. So yeah, if you want to go check it out, you should go check it out. So then we actually went to Puglia. So we have been going there for the last 2 summers because we're friends with our chefs there. I spent the whole summer there cooking in the kitchen, and I really love Puglia. It's getting popular and popular. The thought I had around Puglia, which I thought would be really cool for a wedding, a lot of people haven't really been there yet. like Tuscany or Amalfi, that's kind of where everyone goes. So yeah, I thought it would be really fun to kind of get all friends and family to Puglia, a place that they've never been. So let's go back in time to see our morning of our Puglia visit.
I think this is going to be it. It is so cool. Even though, you know, this would be our dream location, we still need to see like the quote on like how much it is and see if we can get our guests here and if it's free next year or the year after. But this place is really f***ing awesome.
So in general, Puglia has all these really aesthetic, like truly houses. It's very different than Tuscany. Tuscany is more like wine farms and like wine estates and like gorgeous views, while Puglia is more like in the architecture, like all little white truly houses, that's what they call it. Everything is like white. They have all these like colorful flowers. It's a little bit more rustic. They have a lot of like maserias, what they call it, which means like an old farmhouse but then transformed. When I was there, I was just like, that feeling of like, I could immediately envision my whole night there, like my friends, like how I would set it up, and like I just like felt it. It just clicked, and I looked at Max and I was like, oh my god, this is it. I feel Max being a really good partner there. That's just like really him. I'm even not sure until today if that's the one he would like prefer over everything, but he was just like, I see you being so happy here and being so happy about this venue, so we should do this one. It was just kind of everything in one. It has this gorgeous olive tree garden. That's what makes Puglia also famous, like all their like olive trees. It had like a pool. It has like all these little places to like hang out. You can have like a fire pit. The funny part is that in this location, actually 48 people can sleep there. I thought that was like a really hard negotiable, or like non-negotiable for me, that I was like, everyone needs to stay there. But at least next to this venue, there are a couple other hotels really nearby. So the guests can like stay there and come even on like a walking distance. And obviously half of our guests can stay at the same property. I don't know, we just got so excited that we were like, let's make it work for 2023. We can't wait, we don't want to wait. It's funny how our non-negotiables at the beginning kind of like changed over this like visit to the venues in Puglia. But I don't know, it was a really fun experience to kind of look at different places and see like what the vibe is. I had talked with someone also about a dress before, but I do think it's really important to first find your location and then look into kind of the type of dress you want, because for Tuscany I would probably go for something a little bit different than like now, where it's all like white and things like that. It's also really funny how before I was like never really into like wedding things so much. I was never the type of girl who like had her Pinterest board ready and like was like really dreaming about it. But like now, the more I get into it, obviously I love food, I love curating beautiful things. So curating like a wedding, I just have like so much fun in it. And I think this is also something very important what Max and I both said throughout this process, is really to focus on that this process is supposed to be fun and enjoyable. So we do not want to argue about this, and obviously there will be things where we're maybe disagreeing, but I feel I can stress about a lot of things. I feel that is literally the far opposite of what a wedding is supposed to be like. So yeah, I hope you guys kind of enjoyed looking with me through the different types of wedding venues. It's funny how we start at one thing and then completely end at another vibe, another thing. And I will take you guys with throughout the rest of the journey, picking my dress, maybe bachelorette, all of that. And yeah, if you guys have any questions for me, let me know. I will link kind of the places where we went down below as well, and I will see you guys very soon.